Do not disturb. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome to you all. And we are going live. We are live at this time, as a matter of fact. And I want to just welcome everyone. I'm seeing 17 persons on already. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And don't forget to let us know where you are logging in from this afternoon. Welcome again to everyone who is on. We are so happy to have you on. Put in the chat, let us know where you are joining us from. And we are just going to give it about 3 minutes before we start our discussion, actually. So just let us know where you are joining us from this afternoon. I'm so happy to have you on. Florida, Virginia. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And share it with your friends. Share the link with your friends. And just remind them that they need to log on at this time. I think we need some people who are in our groups to log on. So share with your friends and let them know that you are on. I'm so happy to have you logging on with us this afternoon. I'm happy to have you coming in the room with us. Thank you so much. My name is Novlet Simmonette, as you can see it on the screen, and I am the founder and CEO of Step by Step Consultancy, a recruiting agency. And I am from Jamaica. I'm a Jamaican, and I have somebody special with us this afternoon, of which you will hear his voice shortly. So welcome, welcome, and I'm going to make sure to send this out again to some persons that I know that should be logging on at this time, but I'm not seeing them as yet. So welcome, everybody. Welcome.
You're getting echo?
Welcome. I'm getting a feedback from you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for logging on, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on. I am so excited to have you here with us, sharing with us this afternoon, as I just send out to some persons to let them know that we are on. Excited to have everybody joining. Please tell your friends to join. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Share with your friends, especially those teachers who are coming from Jamaica or teachers that are here already. And you know that they need this information because the tax season starts in January, and you want to make sure that you are abreast, you're aware of what to do because it can be very, very complicated. And I'm sure if you've watched my videos, you would have seen my story, and I am going to share with you again just a little part of my story before we go into our actual discussion. All right. Thank you guys for logging on. I'm excited. I'm happy to have you on this afternoon. Happy to have you on. All right. Thank you so much. All right. And so this afternoon, again, let me say thank you so much for joining us. Um, I have with me Mr. Ryan Maxwell, who is known all across Florida, Jamaica, Georgia, and he will name some other places, South Carolina, North Carolina, where he is known People know what he does and what he is all about. So we're going to talk with him in just a few minutes. He is going to share with us his experience and what he is all about, what he's here to teach us about this afternoon. It's a very, very interesting topic that you want to make sure that you have your notepads to write, because you are going to need to write down some things, because this tax thing can be very, very difficult. All right. So, welcome again, guys, to you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, we're coming to you from Step by Step Consultancy, and we are a recruiting agency. We recruit international teachers from different countries, mainly from Jamaica. We recruit on H1B visas and also J1 visas. So comes January, we will focus a lot on our J1 teachers. And you would want to make sure that you log on, sign up with us if you are interested in teaching in the United States, or if you have a friend who may need to get here to teach in the United States, because we know that things can be very rough back home, and is very rough, especially with that hurricane that we just experienced. So share our link, share, tell your friends about us. All right. Thank you again for logging on. So let me go right ahead to introduce our main speaker presenter this afternoon. And his name is Ryan Maxwell, known by many people. Ryan hails from the beautiful island of Jamaica. Come on, let me see you put your hands together and give him a round of applause. So he is originally from Jamaica, and he attended the Glenmuir, High School. Is there anybody online who attended Glenmuir High School? Yes, he went to Glenmuir and later moved to Florida to study accounting at the University of Tampa, where he specialized in taxation. He is a certified public accountant, CPA, and for over 10 years, he's been helping international teachers to navigate US tax challenges. And you notice the word tax challenges. He worked extensively with US International Tax Treaty, the tax treaty rules, non-resident tax filing, that is a 1040 NR, and the ITIN applications. He works with tax matters for J1 teachers, H1B, and their dependent. I want you all to put your hands together if you can, or just send a thumbs up or something, and give Mr. Maxwell a shout out, as he is going to be presenting to us this afternoon about taxes. And as I've said earlier, the tax season starts in January. And so we want, here at Step by Step Consultancy, we want to make sure that you are prepared for the season. And let me share a little story as I hand over to him. When I just got here, I never understood it. And the government wrote me and told me that I owe them over $8,000. I was like, what? $8,000. Why? Because somebody who was filing my taxes made a mistake on it. And so they made the mistake, tried to correct it, make more mistakes to it. And so it's like it was just going up until I made a plan and started paying, got somebody who knew about taxes very, very well, helped me, and I was no longer owing the government. So you don't want to find yourself in that situation. Hence, us deciding to have Mr. Maxwell on as he reached out to us. So now I will be handed over to Mr. Maxwell. I'm not hearing you. All right, we know how technology is, and so as he get himself sorted out, I want to you to put in the chat to let us know where you are logging on from. Where are you logging on from? Let us know. All right. So Mr. Maxwell is just trying to sort things out a little bit. You know how technology is. So again, we are coming to you from Step by Step Consultancy. We are a recruiting agency and we recruit international teachers.
All right, I'm not sure if you're hearing me.
I am hearing you clearly now.
Okay. Yes, guys. So sorry about the technical difficulties. So I actually prepare a presentation that I wanted to share with you guys, but for some reason the technology is not working out. I was trying to see if I could, so you guys can see my face on my phone and then on my computer screen, try to mute my computer and then just talk from my phone and then present from my computer. So that's what I was trying to do because I know sometimes people are visual learners, right? Because that's how I work. I like to look at stuff, and so I took some time to do this little presentation. So I'm gonna try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, then I'm just have to just do it from my phone. I'm not sure what's going on because I worked with this yard stream before and I never had this kind of difficulty. So let me try this one more time to see if I can present from my phone and then let's see. I'm almost to this.
Yes, guys, as he get himself sorted out, we know how it is with technology already. And so we are so excited to have you on this afternoon. Thank you so much for logging on.
All right. Can you see my can you see anything?
All right, so yes.
Okay, great. All right. So I think you need to mute. And so let me the one that's doing the talking. Just a minute.
I did mute mine.
Okay. Can you okay, one second. Something is going on. Yeah.
So we are seeing your presentation now, okay?
Can you hear me?
So I'm hearing you, but there's a feedback. So what I'm going to suggest you do, Ryan, is to just walk us through it because it seems like the
Yeah.
presentation aspect of it isn't working because
Gotcha.
there's a
Okay.
feedback. Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. Can you still hear me, right?
I'm hearing you.
All right, guys. Yeah. So thanks for having me, Miss Simmonette. I really wanted to do this presentation, but I guess next time we'll do it. Okay. But anyway, again, thanks everyone for joining. I know it's a Sunday evening. You guys are probably busy doing other stuff, but this is important information, like Ms. Simonet said. So I appreciate everyone taking the time out to join us here. This is valuable information, right? This has to do with your taxes and also your filing obligation here to stay compliant. And so this is a very important information that a lot of people don't really get. So I'm taking time out to kind of educate you guys on the international tax side of the business, right? So again, so what are some stuff that I want you guys to walk away with from this presentation is some important dates, right? What are some important dates that you need to be aware of? And then what are your, as a non-resident, what are your filing obligation, right? So these are like very overview, very basic stuff that I want to go over, like so what are some typical taxable income that you're going to see? What are some forms that you should familiar with? And then the big one is the tax treaty exemption that a lot of people is not aware of that teachers qualify for. And then we also have this FICA exemption, which is like Social Security and Medicare that a lot of teachers are still not aware about that one as well. And then, like Miss Simmonette said, what if somebody mess up your tax return? What can you do? Yes, so all is not lost when someone messes up your tax return. You can do an amended tax return to kind of fix the issue. And then I will touch on the process, and then at the end we'll try to save some time for some questions and answer. Right. So tax season start in January. Normally starts at the end of January, probably like the fourth week of January. Normally, when it comes around January, the IRS will issue a date. More than likely, it's going to be in the fourth week of January, and that goes through April 15th. So you have until January to April 15th to file your tax return, right? But like most of my clients, people want to file their tax return and get their money within that period. But if you're like some of my other clients who have other stuff that's going on, where you didn't get your W-2, you didn't get all of your information in time, you can file for an extension within that period, right? So within January, before April 15, you can actually file an extension to file your tax return after April 15. And then that extension, you have until October 15 to actually send in your tax return. Right. So again, April 15 is like the regular deadline that people want to get back their money, so they just file by April 15. But if you're one of those people that don't get all of your information, you can actually file an extension within the April 15 deadline, and then you get until October 15 to actually file your tax return, right? And so normally the district will send out your W-2, and then for most people, like the first year teachers, W-2, this is the first time you're probably hearing about W-2, but second year, third year, you guys already know that the district will send out the W-2. They're required to issue the W-2 by December 31st. Like the last week in December, you should receive your W-2, right? And so if you don't receive most teachers sometimes they just go on their portal, wherever you see your pay stub, you can just go on your portal and go on the forms or tax forms, and you should be able to pull your W-2 there. Or if you elect, like some teachers sometimes elect for the district to mail their W-2, you just check your mail. And then you have teachers who went back on the program. So my advice for those teachers that actually work in 2025 and actually went back to Jamaica or other countries, make sure you update your address or give the district an address to one of your friends or someone where they can actually mail that W-2 to, because you're not going to have access to the district portal anymore. So make sure you update your address so they can send the W-2 to that address, because you're going to need that in January, right? And so again, the district have until like December the 31st to send you the 2025 year W-2. And then you got some teachers that actually do, like, they got interest from bank. They're doing Uber, so they get like a 1099 from Uber or Spark or Lyft. That 1099, they're gonna those companies gonna issue those 1099 again, like in December, not December, in January, for you guys to file your tax return. So just look out for that. Sometimes people get confused with tax. When we're actually in January, you're not really doing tax return. When we're in January 2026, you're not doing tax return for January. You're not doing tax return for 2026. You're actually looking a year back, because you're a calendar year filer. So you're looking at 2025, even though we're going to be in January 2026. So you're actually filing a tax return a year back, even though sometimes you're preparing it in that year. So like for 2026, the tax return that you're filing for is for 2025 tax year. So I know that sometimes can get very confusing for people. I get that question all the time. Say, I already filed for 2025. No, you didn't file for 2025. You actually filed for 2024, because we're looking a year back, right? And we're filing from January all the way to December, because you're a calendar year filers. Um, Again, so some people file two tax returns, right? Some teachers file two tax returns because some state, you got a federal tax and you got a state tax. Like some state has an income tax. So like Florida, Tennessee, Texas, um, Washington, those states do not have a state income tax. So that's why people love Florida. Like you hear, like the celebrities, they want to go live in Florida, or people want to retire in Florida, mainly because Florida do not tax your income, right? So that's why you have a lot of people wants to retire in those states. So you have two tax returns. So like Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, those states have income tax. So you'd have to file two tax returns when we're doing a tax return. You do one for the federal government and then one for the state. And then if you have to get back two, sometimes you'll get back two refund. So sometimes my Florida teachers will call me and be like, "Hey, Mr. Maxwell, my friend in South Carolina got two refunds and I only got one." It's because Florida does not have a state income tax. They didn't take out any tax out of your paycheck in Florida, right? So, Florida people, you guys are lucky, unlike Georgia people, where they're taking taxes out of your paycheck. All right. So on this slide that I'm sharing, that I'm supposed to be sharing. So the takeaway from this slide is the tax season start January through April. But if you don't get your information in time, you can file an extension through October 15, right? And then you're supposed to get your W-2 by the end of January 2026. All right. So here's another complicated issue that a lot of teachers run into. And I get this all the time. This is one of my number one questions that people call me all the time. When you come here, right, you're a non-resident. So you need to hold this straight in your head. You got non-resident and you got US citizens and green card holders. There's two different filings, right? US citizens and green card holder file a 1040, and non-resident, which you are, because you're not a green card holder, you're not a US citizen, so you file a 1040 NR, right? And so I get this all the time. you know, Mr. Maxwell, my teacher friend, we come from the same place, we're making the same money, we do everything, and she was able to, file with her daughter and get back this money and all this stuff. And I always tell them the only reason why they were able to do all the stuff that you're talking about, file for, the daughter and everything, is because they filed in the wrong form. That's it. That's the only reason. They filed in the wrong form. They filed in the regular U.S. citizen form. As a non-resident in the first 2 years, right? You have to file on the 1040 NR, and on that form, you can't file married filing jointly. You don't get the luxury of doing married filing jointly. You don't get the luxury of doing head of household. You don't get the luxury of some credits. So that's the only reason why, your friend was able to do all that stuff, is because they filed in the wrong form. And so when they file in the wrong form, they're going to get this money. And then 2 or 3 years down the line, the IRS is going to come back and say, "Hey, let's show me all your documentation that says you're a U.S. citizen or a green card holder." You can't produce that information. And then you'd have to send back all of that money with interest and penalties. So you want to make sure that you're filing on the right form. And a lot of people miss that, right? Non-resident follow different rules from U.S. citizens and green card holders. So you got to make sure that the person that's doing your tax return are very familiar with the non-residence rule, right? Because what happened is a lot of people here, right? And you can imagine a lot of people here, they do taxes, but they only do it for U.S. citizens and green card holder. You, as a non-resident, when you go up to them and tell them, "Hey, I'm a non-resident, I'm a teacher, I got this tax treaty," they're gonna be looking at you crazy. They don't know what you're talking about because they're not familiar with the non-resident rules, right? You guys follow a specific rules when you're doing your tax return for non-resident. So again, non-resident file the 1040 NR. Regular U.S. citizens and green card holder file a 1040. Different rules that we got to follow whenever we're doing tax returns. All right. As a non-resident, right? When in your third year, even though you are non-resident on paper, in your third year, you're going to meet what is called the substantial presence test. It's a test where they say, "Okay, you've been here for a number of days and yada, yada, yada." And even though you're a non-resident on paper, now you can file as a regular U.S. citizen and green card holder, right? So now you can switch over to the 1040 and do the regular stuff that U.S. citizens and green card holders are doing now. So that's when you can start doing claiming your daughter, filing for kids, claiming student credits, doing all of the regular stuff that U.S. citizens do. And that's hit in the third year, right? Not in the first 2 years while you're on the tax treaty exemption. And that's when you meet what is called the substantial presence test. So again, recap. U.S. citizens and green card holder file separate form from non-resident, which you guys are considered non-resident when you first get here. All right, I touched on this briefly. So in January again, most of the some typical taxable income that you guys will have is your wages that you get from school, right? And that's going to be reported on the W-2. I got teachers that you got your bank account, you got a credit card, your bank with a credit card or a bank. The bank, you got a savings account. They're gonna send to you a 1099 INT, which shows the interest that you made from those money that you have with the bank. And then some teachers, they are investors. They invest in Google, or they're doing Robinhood or some form of investment, and they get some dividend. That's going to be reported on what is called the 1099 DIV, which is stand for dividend. So you will get that in January as well. And then again, I mentioned this earlier. Some teachers do Lyft and Uber. When you do Lyft and Uber, you're not an employee. You're self-employed. So if you do Lyft and Uber, they don't really take any taxes out of your paycheck, right? If you're supposed to get $500, they just send you the $500, right? And so you will have to pay tax on that $500 whenever you file your tax return. And so Lyft and Uber also will send you a 1099 in January for you to file your tax return, right? So those are the typical income that I see for teachers. Your W-2, your interest, your dividends, your 1099s. Those are the income that's going to be subject to tax whenever you file your tax returns. Yeah, I wish you guys could see this W-2. I know the second, third year and beyond, they know what a W-2 looks like. But for the first year, again, I wish I wanted to show you guys this W-2, but it's going to be a form that kind of summarize all of your paycheck, right? From when you first came here. So most people came, for the first year, they came here in like August or July. So all of your paycheck from August or July all the way to December, if you make like $50,000, right? You're gonna see the $50,000 on there, and then you're gonna see like how much tax was taken out that they withheld from you, right? And then so if you're in like state that have a state income tax, you're gonna see that okay, they pay me $50,000 in this state, and for state purposes they took out like $2,000 or whatever. So again, the W-2 just kind of summarize all of your paycheck, and that's what you will send to me when it's time to file your tax return. So I can help with that process, right? And then again on the 1040 NR, right? That's a form that most people will file. If you guys pull that up, you're not gonna see married filing jointly. So non-resident, you don't get the luxury again to married filing joint on your 1040 NR. You don't get the luxury of claiming dependent and filing head of household, which is a favorable filing status, right? Those are only reserved for U.S. citizens and green card holders, right? All right, so let's talk about the tax treaty exemption, which is a big issue that a lot of people is not familiar with. It's only if you're in this non-resident area that you're familiar with these tax treaty rules, right? Because the U.S. have tax treaty with probably like 6 to 7 or so countries, and each country and the tax treaty is kind of different. So you have to understand whenever I'm doing a tax return for teachers from India or Jamaica or Panama or Trinidad, I gotta look to that specific tax treaty to see what's going on and what's being taxed and how to present that on the tax return. So these are special rules for teachers, and you guys are very fortunate. And this is a teacher-specific rules, right? It doesn't relate to your J2 spouse or your H4 spouse or dependents. This is a teacher incentives where they say if you're a teacher and you come here to work for, you come here to work temporarily we're gonna give you a 2-year exemption where for the first 2 years you're not gonna pay any tax. Meaning, first 2 years, anything that's been taken out of your paycheck, we're just going to give you that back, right? And it's only for 2 years, right? So after the 2 years, then you become like a regular person. You become like a regular taxpayer, right? So again, it's only for 2 years. And so if you leave, and the exemption only apply once. So if you come here and do your 2 years, you get the exemption and go back to Jamaica and then come again to teach, it does not apply to you, right? It's the exemption is only for 2 years, and you only get it once, and it's a teacher specific exemption. And so countries that are included is Jamaica, which is very fortunate, the Philippines, India, off the top of my head, Trinidad, off the top of my head, right? So, and then, so what happened with those other African countries and those other sort of South America countries? It just there's not a special treatment for you guys, and I just hate to tell you guys that, because sometimes people come to me, be Mr. Maxwell, I'm a teacher, I'm from such and such, my friend is from Jamaica, but it just, no, it just doesn't apply to your country, right? So it's not like it's a teacher, every teacher get this exemption. It's teachers from these country, because these country went ahead and have these tax arrangement with the United States. So that's why you guys, Jamaicans, Philippines, you guys got lucky where Jamaica was able to facilitate that, and so you guys will get this special treatment, right? All right. So that's the tax treaty exemption. It's teacher specific, and the exemption is only for 2 years. And so what happened is, state also, sometimes some state follow the federal rules where they say, okay, all the state tax that you pay, we're gonna give you back that as well, right? And then some while some state will be like, no, we don't follow the Fed, you have to pay a state tax, right? So yes. All right. So that's what I wanted to cover in terms of the tax treaty. All right, so FICA. So if you look on your pay stub, right? You should see for teachers that are in like Florida, you will see like three tax that's coming out of your paycheck. But people that are in like state that has a state income tax like Georgia and North Carolina, you will see sometimes there are four tax coming out of your paycheck. So one is for the federal, that goes to the federal. Another is for the state, and then you have the Social Security and Medicare, right? Which is like, Social Security is for like people that are 65 and older. When you're old, you keep your pay 6.2% right now, and then if you're still here, you're 65 and older, they will kind of give you back, some of that. And then the Medicare, again, you pay 1.45%, and then if you're old, still here in the United States, they will help you out with your medical bills if you're 65 and older, right? In the first 2 years, as a J1, you don't pay those, right? So very important, right? Because I got teachers where the district didn't know that, this rule, and so they went ahead and take out the Social Security and Medicare in the first 2 years, and so then we'll have to file like a form to try to get that back. You don't want to do all of that. You want to make sure that they're not doing this in the first 2 years, right? So again, J1 are exempt from the FICA in the first 2 years as well. It's only in the third calendar year then you guys start paying the FICA, and then you just pay FICA, and there's nothing else you can do about it. I get this question all the time where people are asking if we can file to get back the FICA in the third year, and so, but no, we can't really file. It's just money that gone to the government. I guess they look at it as a privilege of working here, right? And again, so if those people notice that the tax has been taken out for the FICA tax, you can talk to your district, try to notify your district as soon as possible. And then what happened is, sometimes when the district take out the money out of your paycheck, if you wait too long, that money's been sent to the IRS. So then you would have to file a form to get that money back from from the IRS. And then that's where I come in to try to help you file that form to try to get back that Social Security that was incorrectly taken out. But again, you don't want that to happen. So those in the first 2 years, just make sure you're monitoring your paycheck to make sure that the FICA is not being taken out of your paycheck. All right, so we touched on this briefly about the amended tax return. So what happened is, again, when I'm doing people tax return for the first time, I always ask them about their last year tax return. Let me look at your last year tax returns, to make sure it was done correctly, because not a lot of people, again, is familiar with this non-resident. So they miss a lot of stuff on there. They miss the tax treaty, they miss the filing status, they file the incorrect form. So whenever I see that, we can file what is called an amended tax return to get back the taxes that they didn't get when they filed that wrong tax return. And you got like 3 years to file an amended tax return. So now that we're going to be in 2026, you can amend 2025 if it was done correctly. 2024 and 2023 will be the last year that you can amend to get back money. And when you file an amended tax return, I get this question all the time. It's just a longer process. I'm sorry, guys. It's just a longer process where it just takes forever for the IRS to kind of, you know, look over it and make sure everything is correct, and then eventually they will send you the money. But it just takes a longer time for them to process amended tax return. But so I always tell people we just want to make sure we filed it, and knowing that they, eventually they're gonna get to it, and so you will get your money. So, but again, if someone messes up your tax return, all is not lost. We can always file an amended tax return to kind of fix it and file the correct form that you need to file. All right. So one of the things that I always tell people and the teachers is whenever you're getting ready to do your tax return, you want to make sure that you're working with someone that actually understand, again, the non-resident filing requirement, right? So your first question to that person when you're doing your tax return, are you familiar with the non-resident filing? And if it's yes, then good. Then you can ask another question. Are you familiar with the tax treaty as it relates to my country? And if the answer is yes, then great. You can go ahead with that person. I'm guarantee you, if you go to anyone, in H&R Block or those people that does U.S. citizens and green card holder tax return, and you ask those two questions, they're gonna be looking at you crazy because they're not familiar, because the tax system is just so vast. It's either you're focusing on one or a niche to kind of fully understand the picture of that situation. Right. So those are two very important questions that you need to ask. Are you familiar with the non-residence filing status? Or are you familiar with the tax treaty as it relates to my country? And so I got teachers too that actually they're smart and they want to tackle this stuff themselves, and then they end up using like TurboTax or other software. If you're a non-resident and you use TurboTax or some other tax software, your tax return automatically is going to be wrong, because TurboTax and some of these other tax return does not file non-resident tax return. So once you tell me that, oh, I was able to do it, Mr. Maxwell, and I use TurboTax, I know it's wrong, because you're filing on the wrong form, because TurboTax does not do non-resident tax return,
Wow.
right? So be careful when you decided to try to do it by yourself. Make sure you're using the right form whenever you're filing. So yeah, so that's it. Like I wanted to save some time. I know we kind of went over because of the technical difficulties, but I wanted to save some time so to see if we have any questions. See if I could clear up anything that you guys weren't it's not too clear. I know I kind of rush over that real quick, but you guys can always reach out to me. This time of year, I'm getting to my business season, but I can always take questions. If you have questions about anything, you can always call me, WhatsApp me. My number is 813-449-0118. That's 813-449-0118. More than likely, one of the other
So
team.
let me stop you a minute, Ryan. It's best to put it in the chat so that they can see it there.
Right, right. Yes, I'll
Um,
definitely put it in the chat. But I'm sure one of the other teachers that send you the link probably have my number or my WhatsApp. They will share it with you. If you have questions, you can always, this time of year, I got a lot of time. But come January, I'm going to be super busy. So if you have questions, just reach out. Don't be afraid. Just reach out. I'll try to answer your questions. But January, around those times, I'm actually doing the work. I'm actually filing tax return, reviewing tax return. And so I'm very busy that time. So like now to December, I'm come up with all the questions that you guys may have.
So I still want them to ask some questions, and I'm seeing some in the chat. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and read the ones you're seeing in the chat, or you want me to read them.
I was doing my presentation. You can go ahead and read those. I
Okay.
was because yeah,
So,
just go ahead and read them.
right. So somebody asked, what happens in the fourth year when you file for taxes? Do you still get a return?
Yes. So people, yeah, this is another confusing stuff, right? So you feel that people think that, oh, once I come out of that 2 year exemption, I'm not gonna get back any refund. No, it doesn't work like that. So what happened in your third and your fourth year is you become a regular person, right? And so you start paying tax. And if you overpay, then you get back a refund. And if you underpay, then you owe tax. What happened is people get in the first 2 years, you get spoiled. And so you're because you're not taxable in the first 2 years, you're whatever tax you pay, you just get it back, right? It doesn't work like that. So people think that, oh, once I come out of that 2 year exemption, I'm not gonna get back any
All right.
refund.
So I
No,
am not sure what happened to Ryan at that. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm sure he'll be back on soon. Just type your questions in, guys, in the meantime, and then he will respond to your questions when he get back online. Make sure to type your questions in. And again, we are coming to you from Step by Step Consultancy, a recruiting agency. And I'm asking you to follow us on our pages, um, on our Instagram page, on our Facebook page, LinkedIn, and we are also on TikTok. So please follow us. All right. So he is back. All right. Are you hearing me, Mr. Maxwell? All right, so he will be back soon, guys. So just follow us. And remember, as I told you, that comes January, we will be recruiting.
all right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
hearing you.
someone was calling me, and then okay. So again, what I was saying is, yes, you're gonna get back a
Mhm.
refund. It depends on how much tax you pay.
All right, because he's using his cell phone, and you know how it is with the cell phone, right? So remember to follow us on our pages. And as he continues to talk about the tax returns, make sure that you put your questions in the chat because that's what it is all about this afternoon. We want to make sure that you get all the answers that you need, and we will try to go through as many as we can. So go ahead, guys, and like our video and share it with someone because it is very, very informative. So make sure to share and like our pages that we have. January again, we'll be recruiting for J1 teachers. So, and we should be in Jamaica as well, sometime in January or early February on the recruitment, doing recruitment. All right, Mr. Maxwell, you can go ahead. Do you want me to go to the next question? Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Sorry about that.
All right.
Are there any more questions?
Yes, there are more questions. So let me go ahead with the next question that I'm seeing. I see somebody say, I'll need to ask a question about the is the FICA or FICA after
Hmm.
your presentation because I wasn't aware that it was supposed to be coming out.
Okay. Yeah. So again, J1 have this special treatment where the first 2 years you're not supposed to pay, and it's so the FICA is a calendar year. So sometimes, so if you come here in 2025, July, you're exempt, and then 2026 entire year you're exempt, and then 2027 January you started paying. So if you notice that, some people. So for instance, you were here in 2023, and you notice that tax was taken out that you were J1, then you can file for that special exemption to get that back.
So question, if you're on a H1B visa,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter? you're still not supposed to be for 2 years paying taxes, or
No,
it's
no.
just for J1?
Okay. So yes. So the tax treaty that I first talked about, where you're exempt, is a teacher specific rule. So H1B and J1 qualifies for that tax treaty, where they're not supposed to pay the federal and the state tax in the first 2 years.
Oh, okay.
J1 get the special treatment with the FICA. It does not relate to H1B,
Okay.
right? So that's only J1 specific. The FICA is a J1 specific rule.
Okay. So
Mhm.
you hear that, H1B holders, you're not supposed to pay federal and state tax, right? That's what you just
Correct.
said
If you're
for the
from,
first
if
2 years.
yes, if you're from a treaty specific country that has that special treatment with the US.
Okay, great, great, great. Let me see if there's any more question. All right, so I am in my second year and wasn't aware that this SSN and Medicare should not be coming out.
Again, same question. Yes. So yes, you shouldn't be paying that FICA. First thing you need to do is ask the district to refund you that money. More than likely, they already send that to the IRS. So if they send that to the IRS, then you'd have to file a special form to get it back from the IRS. But you need to stop it right now, even though we got like a couple more paychecks left. You need to talk to them, to stop taking out that
Oh,
because you
wow.
were yeah.
Wow. And I was always paying that. So, I mean,
Okay, so you were always paying FICA even though you were J1 from the get go.
oh, yeah, I was paying that.
Yeah, so that
So
was
can I
yeah.
still file and get back that money?
So you have 3 years until when you notice the error, right? So you can always go back and do the math, and it doesn't hurt to kind of still apply for it, even though the statute of limitation may pass. You might write an exemption letter to say you weren't aware or something, or but yeah, you can try.
Okay, all right. I'll certainly try. Somebody say, what did you say teachers of third year will get a tax refund?
Yes. Again, don't mix up um tax refund when you say tax refund, right? Don't mix it up where you're gonna be getting back everything that you pay, right? You're gonna be getting back a refund. Yes, you're still entitled to a refund. So look at the tax system as if you earn money in your third year. You earn money. So for instance, you earn $50,000, right? You earn $50,000 for the entire year. And so when you come to me to do your tax return, I determine that, okay, based on your tax bracket and your filing status and everything, the taxes that you need to pay is $5,000, right? And so during the year, the district withheld $6,000 from you. So they withheld too much taxes, right? So that's why you end up getting back $1,000 refund. And it could work the opposite way, where I did your taxes, and based on your tax bracket, your taxes were supposed to be $4,000, right? And so the district withheld $2,000, or the district withheld $3,000 from you. So that's why you have to pay back $1,000 because you did not pay in, or they didn't take out enough taxes, and so that's why you end up owing taxes. And so a big myth is that a lot of people think that, oh, once I file a tax return, I'm supposed to be getting back this big old refund. No, so I have to go through this process every time with some new people. Oh, Mr. Maxwell, someone did it last year and I was able to get back $5,000-$6,000, and now this year I'm actually owing and I'm not getting back the $5,000-$6,000. It doesn't work like that. The government is not like dishing out and handing out money to people. And
Oh,
so I have to
no.
go through that to try to explain to people that it doesn't work that way, right? We do your tax return, we kind of determine based on your tax bracket and all the situation that you got going on for that year, what was your taxes, right? And if the district took out more money than what you should have paid throughout the year, then you're gonna get back a refund. And if they did not take out enough, then you owe tax. That's how the
Mr.
tax return.
Maxwell. Mr. Maxwell, sorry to cut you, but I'm glad that you made mention of that because I was going to ask that question as well. To say that I was always owing. Why was I always owing money?
All right. So
Right?
here's
So you
another.
explain that. I'm
Right. So
glad you
here's
did.
yeah. Here's another reason why a lot of people be owing a tool because all right. So when you first come here, you fill out this form, which is called a W-4 form, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, that form is very confusing and you don't understand that form. So they just put whatever on there. And so that W-4 form is the form to the district to tell the district how much taxes to take out of your paycheck, right? And so if you fill out that form incorrectly, because the district is not tax people. Well, however you fill out that form, the district is just putting that into their computer, and the computer is determining how much to take out of your paycheck. So if you did not fill that out correctly, and so they didn't take out enough, right? You're gonna end up owing because you did not pay enough, taxes. So that's why I always encourage my clients to make sure whenever they become taxable in the third and the fourth year, I always encourage them at the start of the year, whenever they're being taxable, to make sure that they fill out this form correctly. Because that's gonna, I'm trying to save myself the frustration because they're gonna come to me in January whenever I'm doing my tax and be like, Mr. Maxwell, you messed up my tax return. Um, I can't tell you how many people have to explain this because they come and say, okay, you messed up my tax return. No, I'm owing, and I thought I was gonna get back this. And poor Mr. Myself didn't do anything. It's just that they did not have enough tax withheld out of their paycheck. And it's a simple, it just come down as simple as that. They did not pay any tax. So you have people that makes like, $50,000, and then so they fill out the W-4 incorrectly, and then the district end up taking out like $2,000, right? So they end up owing tax whenever they file their tax return. So that's why some people owe. That's the main reason why people owe tax because they didn't pay enough in.
Thank you for sharing that. A quick question before I go to something else there. So, if I'm making 50,000 or say $55,000 for the year, how much should I pay out of that per month for taxes? Just give me
Okay,
a rough.
so the rule of thumb that I like to use is like 10%, right?
Okay.
Because somebody that makes $55,000 is gonna be in the 10% bracket, like tax bracket. You're gonna
Mhm.
be in like the 10 to 12% tax bracket. So you want to make sure at least 10 to 12% is being taken out to cover the taxes.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. So because I realize that our HR personnel's not telling us how much. So we come from Jamaica, from India, from all over the world to teach.
right.
And when they give you that form, they say, please fill it out. Now we don't know what to put on it.
Correct. And so HR people, they're not tax professional, and also they don't want to have that obligation to tell you how to fill that out. They don't want to have that liability to tell you how to fill it out so you can come back to them and be like, "Oh, you tell me to do this." So they don't take on that responsibility. That's not their responsibility. It's your responsibility as a taxpayer to work with your accountant to figure out how to fill that out, fill that out. You get what I'm saying? So they're
Yeah, I
not going to
got
tell you
you.
how to fill that out.
I got you, but I leave Jamaica and I come here. I don't have no accountant up here. And in Jamaica, I never used to do taxes. So, I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but
No, no,
I
you're
felt
fine.
it.
But
I've been through it. So I
yes,
understand.
yes, they don't want to
Let me
take on that
go to,
responsibility.
I'm sorry. Let me go to this quick question. Someone say, I am here. My child just came. She's under 12. Uh, um, to the US as a J1, uh, with a J1 parent, how soon can I file for taxes for that
Yeah. So
child?
you so 2025 was your first year. Tax season doesn't start until January of 2026. Would be the first time, and the first time that you're going to be filed, and then tax season start in January of 2026. So like at the beginning of the presentation, you're going to get your W-2 in January, and once you receive your W-2, then you're ready to file.
Okay, thank you for that. And somebody said, just to be clear, the federal and state taxes that were taken out of my pay, the school district should give it back to me.
No,
Oh,
no.
mm-mm.
So the federal and state tax that was taken out of your paycheck, right? if you're from one of those tax treaty country, when we file your tax return, they're gonna refund the IRS because the district has already sent that money to the IRS. The district already sent that money to the state. So once we file a tax return, the tax return that we're filing, we're sending it to the state, we're sending it to the federal to say this person earns such and such and such. She's a teacher, and there's a special rule between Jamaica and and the US that says every teacher you're not supposed to be paying tax. And this person already, the district already took out such and such out of this person tax return. So kindly refund that money back to this person. That's the process. Follow?
So you cannot just go to your school district and
No.
say, you took this money from me
No,
and
no,
I need
no.
it back. It is
No,
a
no, no. So the district,
process.
yeah, the district is not the one that we're filing a tax return to. We're filing it to the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and we're filing it to the respective state. Those are the people that the tax return goes to, not the district. The district is just a middle person that takes it out and send it to these people.
All right. So somebody say if the programs managers know about this, but we would not know the program that you're on. We don't know if your program manager know about it. But one thing I do know is that step by step consultancy is moving forward to make sure that they have these documents in place. So when we have J1 teachers start in January, we can guide our teachers. All right. Thank you so much. Um, what if the district take out what that money? Should it that I don't get any refund at all? I'm trying to understand this question. District take out. What if the district take out what they should? Is it that I don't get any refund at all for
Correct.
that third year?
Correct. Correct. So in your third year, when we go, okay, you're not special anymore, no more tax exemption, and you become like a regular taxpayer, right? Um, but in the third year, it's kind of tricky because a lot of people come here in the middle of the year, right? And so in the third year, technically, you still qualify for some exemption, and technically, you become like a regular taxpayer. So it's kind of tricky in the third year, right, to do your tax return because then I would have to break out your income between what's still tax exempt under the treaty versus what you need to pay um, for your fair share of taxes. But in the fourth year, let's say in the fourth year, the district took out the exact amount that you were supposed to pay. You're based on your filing status, based on your tax bracket, the district took out the exact amount. Then correct, you do not get back a refund. You pay your fair share, and that's it.
Okay. All right. I am a J1. My daughter is 12 and she is a US citizen.
Okay, you're a J1, and your daughter is 12, and you're a citizen. Again, you're a J1. You just came here in 2025. Regardless of if your daughter is a U.S. citizen or not, if you're from one of those specific treaty country and you're trying to claim the special exemption and you're filing on the and you need to file on the 1040 NR, you're not going to able to claim your daughter on the 1040 NR, right? Even though your daughter is a U.S. citizen and all that good stuff, you're not going to able to do that. And again, got a lot of people come to me, Mr. Maxwell. My friend was able to, first year and claim daughter and do all this stuff. Yes, they were able to do it because they did it incorrectly and go file on the regular 1040, which the U.S. citizens and green card holder file on. But you, as a non-resident, you're not going to able to do that in the first 2 years.
Okay. All right. So I'm seeing some questions that we have answered already. Asking about my daughter just got here in June and if you can file, and I'm sure you've explained that already. Mr. Maxwell, would you please put your contact number and your email in the chat so that persons can reach you?
Yeah.
And one last question that I'm going to answer to this one says, Is it 10% for state and 10% for federal?
No, roughly like I would say 10% for the state, depending on your income bracket, and then probably like 5% or 3% for the state. Because the state normally has like a lower percentage, right? So yeah, so like 3% I would say for the for the state, depending on
Okay.
which state you're in.
Okay. All right. While you get that done, remember, guys, to like and share the videos. Like and share the video, because once you do that, many more people will be able to hear this and understand it, because many of us leave our country and come here and teach, and we get messed up with our taxes. I told you that at one point the government said I owe $8,000. So I mean, I was like, really no. So you want to make sure that you do the right thing. Remember, as I said, out of my pay, I was paying all the different taxes that you can think about when I should not be paying it. And so I would have more money in my pocket then. So you want to make sure that you do the right thing so that you can have more money in your pocket for the first 2 years, which I think is very good. So do the right thing. Reach out to Mr. Maxwell if you have any more questions, or reach out to us and we can send your question to him. We will be communicating. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So here is where's the email, Mr. Maxwell?
Yes, I think I did send the email as well. So it's Maxwell underscore tax 2022 at yahoo.com. And then my number is 813-449-0118. So that's 813-449
All right. Let
0118.
me type. Say it again. 813.
449
Mm-hmm.
0118.
All right, so that's his contact number, guys, and you can reach him on that number. Somebody say I just joined. I just joined. I think I saw something here. Yes, the third year is eligible for tax return.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes,
And
they
again,
are.
yes, it's a miss. Yeah, so don't think that you're not going to be getting back a refund because you come out of that exemption. It doesn't work like that. Again, it just all depends, and if you overpay or you underpay, that's going to determine whether or not you get back a refund, right? So it's not like you're not going to be getting back a refund at all. No.
Somebody told me, and I'm going to ask, and then we're going to wrap this up. Some time ago, that the best thing to do is to use this as a savings, pay a lot more money so that at the end of the year, you'll get a lot more money in return. Is that true?
No, so it's up to you, right? So all right. So how that work is, so if you're the type of person where, because all right, for me, I don't like that process, right? Because I like to have my money throughout the year so I can handle my bills, my bills, right? And so if you're the type of person that like to get one lump sum at the end of the year, then fine, you can pay in, overpay your tax, right? And then so the IRS is actually saving that money for you. And then once you file your tax return, you get back a big refund, right? But for me, I rather get, I rather just pay just the right amount that I need to pay, and so I have the money to take care of my daily bills throughout the year instead of getting it back as a big refund. So it's up to you guys how you want to do it, but it's gonna work out to be the same thing, right? All right. So here's another scenario where before we go, another thing that a lot of teachers sometimes come to me, Mr. Maxwell, me and my friend, we're from Jamaica. We get the same amount of money, but she was get back $5,000 and I get back $2,000. You mess up something. And then I'll be like, no, I didn't mess up anything. Let's just compare the scenarios. So what happened most time is that both of them don't have the same amount taken out of their paycheck, right? So both of them are making the identical amount, $50,000, right? And so for each paycheck, one will get back more while paying less tax, while other get back less while paying more tax, right? Same scenario. But what happened is the person that get back more money right up front is going to end up with a lower tax refund, right? Because a lower taxes was taken out, while the person that have more tax taken out of their paycheck will end up back with a bigger refund because they had more tax taken out of their paycheck, right? Because both of them are exempt. It's just that they're taking out more now to pay you back more refund, or they're taking out less tax now to pay you back less refund. But you guys gonna end up at the same place because you're exempt. You're gonna both of you guys are making $50,000. You're gonna be end up at the end of the day. You're gonna end up back with your just same $50,000. It just all depends on how much was taken out versus how much you get in your paycheck. You know.
Okay. All right, got you. Thank you so much for sharing. Somebody asked, so what if you weren't paying the 10%? You're going to owe the government. That's the
More than
bottom
likely,
answer.
yes. Let me not. I don't know definitely what your situation is, but more than likely, if you're not paying enough tax, more than likely you're gonna be owing. If you're subject, if you're in that where you're a regular person now and supposed to pay your fair share, yes.
Yeah, more than likely you're going to owe. I can
Yes, so
tell you that.
you need to fix your W-4 to have the district start taking out the correct. Even though we got a couple more paycheck, I would just fix it and overpay. So you try to pay as much because you don't want to underpay. Because if you underpay, then you have interest and penalties that you have to pay on the underpayment. So yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Maxwell. Come on, guys, I want to see you type into the chat telling him thanks for coming on because there is just so much information that we have learned.
Mm.
And I am sure we're going to have part two. So look out for part two coming up as some time to come before the tax season starts. All right, guys, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining us again. We're coming to you from Step by Step Consultancy, and we are a recruiting agency. We recruit J1 teachers, and we also recruit teachers on H1B. Mr. Maxwell, somebody was asking what is ITIN?
Okay, so ITIN is the equivalent of Social Security number. So it's a number. So if you're not qualified, if you can't get a Social Security number, then you can apply for an ITIN. It's a number to file tax return with, and it's for people that does not qualify for a Social Security number. It does not allow you to work, but if you get an ITIN for your dependent, you can file tax return. You can put them on your tax return with that number.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. And we are going to wrap this up right now. We are going to end our live. Many questions came in if this video will be on. If you'll still be able to view it. Yes, it is going to be on YouTube forever. So that is why you need to make sure that you follow Step by Step Consultancy on YouTube, and you will be able to see this video again and share it with your friends. Tell your friends about it, guys, and have a good evening. Enjoy. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening and enjoy Thanksgiving as well. God bless you, and we will talk again. I'm going to end this live. Thank you. Bye bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
All right, thanks.